Welcome to Art Happens. You know when you see a piece of art that you just gotta have, and it doesn't matter if it's hanging on a wall or on someone's back. Well, that happened just a few minutes ago here in the studio with Art Happens. We have an artist that's gonna tell us the whole story. It's so cool. Art Happens. Welcome to the show, Tamara.
Hi, thanks.
And welcome to the show, Frieda. Good to have you both. Yeah, and we'll talk about you in a second. But first, tell me this story.
So I create repurposed creations out of old sweaters. I cut them all up, refashion them into a new sweater.
Okay.
And I was wearing one when I came to tape this show with you today, and your previous guest saw it and liked it. So I said, here, try it on. And she went home with it.
That is sometimes art happens. You know, that is just awesome. So it's a profitable thing just walking around town.
It was well worth coming.
No, that is exciting. And Frieda, good to see you again.
Nice to see you
also
again.
you're an artist as well.
Yes, I am.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about your art?
I'm a painter, basically. I do oil and acrylic, but I also dabble in pastel and charcoal and pencil. Basically, whatever I happen to be in the mood to do that day, that's what I use.
Okay. And together you've combined forces to make the Clearview Art Festival, correct?
Yes.
Could you tell us a little bit about that, please?
Frieda can tell you a bit about the history first.
I started the festival 4 years ago.
Okay.
It started off as a little tiny art show. And I decided to do this because we have some phenomenal artists in Stayner, but no one knows about them. So I thought we should give them a venue to display their work. And the first year, it turned out very well. I was quite pleased. The second year, I grew a little bit more. And the second year, we invited more than just our local artists. We allowed people from the region to come in and display their work. Our third year was phenomenal. We had people from almost across Ontario that came in. And we don't just promote visual arts. We promote dance. We promote music. We promote poetry. Every form of art that you could possibly think of, we welcome at this festival.
That is excellent. So you're creating not just a fine artist perspective, but you're fully immersive. I even understand a family environment too, correct?
Yes, exactly. We also have a kids creative station that our local library puts up, and the kids can come in and create whatever they want. Quite frankly, most children are not interested in walking around and looking at the art. So we're giving them a creative outlet as well.
I understand, too, you have impacted the streets of Stayner in this last month.
Yes, so we've partnered with the Door Youth Center. They're creating a fundraiser for the event, which will raise funds for their programming. And they're doing a Jeans for Teens fundraiser. And it's going to be very similar to like the duck race kind of format where there can be a personal sponsorship, or you can have a business sponsorship, and you take a pair of jeans and you decorate them, and they'll be on display in a little competition the day of the festival. We also have decorated the main street with jeans that are hanging from the flagpoles as well.
That is just awesome. Where did you get that idea?
Jen Garrier is a very creative girl. I have to give her kudos on this one. She's been kind of percolating this idea for a while, and then we have this really cool core team on our festival committee, and we get together and brainstorm, and this just evolved, and everybody's on side. It's going to be awesome.
You have a live stage as part of the whole show.
Yeah.
And I understand you got some really exciting things happening, which we might not be able to share, but we will share them anyway. If you see a little bug appear across the screen, well, you know what happens. So tell us about this stage. What's going on?
So we've partnered with Clearview Township, and they have very graciously given us the time and resources from Shane Sargent, who is the Culture and Rec coordinator for the municipality right now. And he's part of our team, and he's got a great background in working with artists and performers and booking stages and all that kind of stuff. So he's got together some fairly big names for us to pull off a concert in the evening.
And they
Dramatic
are?
pause. So we are currently expecting to have Jason Redman, Drew Wright, Kate Quinn, and Matt McIsaac. And they tour with Natalie McMaster.
That is just awesome. So world-class talent in the metropolis of Stayner. I love it. This is so cool. And what weekend is it again? It is the third weekend in?
July 18th.
Yes.
So every year we can look forward to that.
Yes, exactly. To have a successful festival, you always have to be consistent on when you hold it. Mm-hmm. So yes, we've chosen the third weekend in July.
So you have live stage, you have fine arts, you have dance, you have poetry, you even have food, correct? You have
We do. We have a lot of different locals that are coming together to put together a food offering for that day. The Door is going to put together some stuff for lunch. Grazia from the Italian Bakery is come on board. Petronella from Angie's Place is coming. So we're going to have all kinds of really cool food. So it's going to be a full day sensory experience where you can come, check out, look at some pretty cool stuff, listen to some cool music, eat some cool food, and then you can wash it down in the beer garden.
Yes, we're even going to have a beer tasting garden with wine as well. So like I said, it is going to be a glorious festival. This festival is quickly becoming one of the biggest and most well-known festivals in our area. And I just see it growing so much. And each year we try to introduce something new, something fresh. So, and honestly, when I started this, one of my goals was I want people who are doing the festival circuit in this area to say, if there's only one festival that I am going to go to this year, it is going to be the Clearview Festival in Stayner.
Excellent. And is that you're doing, your reputation is preceding yourself, I understand. There's going to be as many as about 40 different vendors that's going to be there. That's no small number.
Yeah. Well, that's our aim.
Yes.
We'll definitely welcome more if they want to show up.
Wow.
Trust me. We will make room.
Wow. That is exciting. Okay, I want to know a little bit about the two of you now. So you're both artists individually. We spoke a little bit about what you do. I'd love to get into some of your art. You have a gallery, I understand?
Yes, I own Linke's Local Arts in Stayner. It is actually a gallery as well as an art supply outlet as well. I currently handle about 28 different artists as well. And again, they are not all local people. They do come from across Ontario. Last summer, I actually had a BC artist displaying with me. So my little shop has earned its little national status.
That is excellent.
Yes.
I'd love to see some of your art as well. I know we have some of that in the studio today. What have we got? I think the first thing is you working, correct?
This was taken about a month ago. We had a leisure show at our arena, and the library had a booth there that day. And they had asked me to be the artist in motion. It was quite a thrill for me because I'd never painted in front of that many people before. There were about 2,000 people who attended.
Wow.
So it was quite exciting for me to do that.
Should be scary too, because art is often a private thing.
Well, I find myself when I am painting, I really get into what I'm doing. And a lot of times I don't really know what's going on around me. I can paint for 5 hours and not realize that 5 hours has gone by. I put myself in every piece that I create.
Excellent. Okay. And here's a full end result. Yes, this is?
This is actually the second in a series that I call Autumn Trails. I don't go out into fields anymore. I basically, they're taken from photographs. But the photograph is only the guide to what I create. When I'm finished, it's what comes out of me. Like I said, most of the time, each piece has a little piece of Frieda in it.
And we happen to have that one in the studio. So one thing you cannot see when you're looking at your computer or television set is the size. It's not a Post-it stamp you're working with, is it? So this is about what dimensions?
This is a 22 by 28 piece, and it's on canvas, and it's an acrylic. The beautiful frame has been made by my husband. He frames all of my work, and he also frames other artists as well. And like I said, this is the second piece from Autumn's Trails. There's going to be a third one. I haven't quite created it yet.
And I understand you are still going as far as Portugal.
Yes, I just finished at Christmas time. I actually had a commission for a piece in Portugal, and it was sent there, and I was quite pleased. I do have work right across Canada, from coast to coast. I do have a piece in Ireland, and I have some in the U.S. as well.
How did you make those connections as well?
I have my own website, but I also am on 4 international sites as well. So my work is actually viewed all around the world. And believe it or not, even though Stayner is a tiny little place, I have people from all over the world that walk in that door. I am so shocked when I find out where a lot of these people are from. And it's like, how in the world did you manage to find my door? They just do. And I have a guest book at my front door. And just going through that guest book, you would be very surprised at where they're from.
You almost need a world map and put pins in it
Yeah,
for everywhere.
pretty much.
That is awesome.
Yes.
Let's speak a little bit more about your art.
This one is actually the little piece that I started at the Leisure Show. This is actually a small little piece from Maple Valley. It was a picture that my husband and I took when we were up on a trip. And again, this is only a small one. It's a 16 by 20. And it's not quite finished.
This is gorgeous.
This is a 52 by 46. It's actually the BC rainforest. I lived in Vancouver for about 3 years. And this is the very first time that I ever attempted mist. And it was a trick, but I think I pulled it off pretty good.
How did you do it?
Basically, it's layering your paints and laying down foundation. But then what you have to do is you have to make your paint on top very translucent, because you don't want to lose the image below. So you have to basically water down the top layer to give it that smoky look.
So you have to use pastels to do it?
No, you can. What I do is there's a lot of additives that you can use with acrylics. It can either thicken it or it can make it thin. You can make acrylic almost like a water base, like a watercolor base. So you make it very translucent, and this is what the
That's
result.
brilliant. Absolutely beautiful. And this is?
This is basically my Amish ladies in the apple orchard. I went for a lot of texture with this one, and you can see it in the background. I don't basically stick to one subject. I whatever is in my heart at the time, that's what comes out.
Wow, beautiful work. I look forward to seeing more of your work in the future. Yes. And Tamara.
Yes.
Your art. Let's talk about that. Let's talk. Listen, tell me. What have we got in the studio? We have?
My business is called Artistically Inclined, and I focus on refashion, repurpose, refashion, recycle, all that kind of stuff. So these are old cottage windows that came from cottages that were on the, actually built on the sand in Wasaga Beach. And when they were torn down, Lady in Evening had collected a bunch of these windows and had them in her barn for about the last 50 years. And I discovered them last year and saved them on their way to the dump. And so now I've been building mosaics on them. So this is Van Gogh's Starry Night. And the glass that I use in the mosaics is repurposed as well. This piece here is glass jars, bottles, pieces of crystal that I've picked up and collected at yard sales or found out that it's getting thrown out or something. And I've glued them to the window, and then the next step was that they were grouted, and that was hanging at the library, Clearview Library in Stainer for the last 2 months.
What got you into repurposing in this path?
The repurposing was a passion, I think, that was instilled in me from a very young age, because my grandmother came home as a war bride, and there was, tough economic times, and they were farmers. And so they recycled, repurposed everything. So that was just kind of our family's culture. And it just, was a seed planted in me, and just it never went away.
Mm-hmm. And you've been doing art your whole life, I'm assuming?
Yes. Did it all through high school. I went to Georgian College, studied design there and graphic art as well. Went on to work in the newspaper industry of all things for a while. And then started to develop artistically inclined, and I've just kind of dabbled in it off and on for the last 25 years.
Very good, very good. This
was a old table that was in my father's neighbor's shed, and it was on its way to the dump. It was a glass table on a wrought iron base. It was very rusted, and I've sandblasted the base and painted it, and then I built this mosaic on the glass top, which was all chipped, and used some, the bubbles are beads that came from an old flower arrangement. There's a repurposed necklace that lays out the veins and the leaves, and there's a lot of other repurposed glass in that piece as well. And this piece I worked on in February when the weather was absolutely brutal, and I hadn't seen sunshine in a very long time and needed something to cheer me up. So I decided I was going to work on some sunflowers, and that's just before the piece was grouted.
Wow. So, two bona fide artists in our midst from the metropolis of Stainer doing what I'm sure will soon be a world-renowned festival. It's really exciting. The third weekend in
July.
In July.
Yes.
Yes. And we will definitely be there. We'll be there, actually. The Art Happens television production crew will also be there, so you can meet some of our producers and geniuses behind the scenes. I'm not one of them. You got to see some of the crew we work with. It's pretty cool. And it's a pleasure, I tell you, having you guys on the show.
Thanks.
Well, thank you,
I look
Damien.
forward to having you again. Because sometimes art happens. We'll see you at the next show.
Art Happens is brought to you in part by the Spalding School of Music, Backland Photography, I don't know,